So we have Pedro Munhoz versus Kyler Phillips. Pedro Munhoz, the young Punisher. What a fitting nickname he has. So he's 20-8. He is 1-3-1 his last five. So he's actually coming off a loss with Marlon Vera about 6 months ago, fighting against Kyler Phillips, the Matrix, 11-2. He's 4-1 his last five. He's coming off that decision win over Ronnie Barcelos. Looking at the odds for this fight right now, we have Kyler Phillips at minus 261. He opened up at minus 200. Alex, what do you think about this fight in the 135-pound division between the veteran Pedro Munhoz and the young up-and-comer Kyler Phillips here?
Yeah, this one is interesting. I was actually um looking. This is like one of those fights that there was decent line movement. So I was interested in kind of understanding why. Because I just remember, from watching Pedro Munhoz's fights that, he's like a vet. He's very good, very decent. Um, but I think I do agree with the line movement here actually. Um, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I think first of all, for Kyler Phillips, I think he has great, movement, great defense. He definitely does slow down towards the end of the towards the third round. I think you know he he also has wrestling and BJJ experience, so he's all around. He's a very good fighter. No real weak areas in his game, as far as I can tell. And then on the Munoz side, obviously excellent leg kicks. He'll kind of just cut you up with all sorts of leg kicks. He's never been submitted, nor has he ever been knocked out. He's true vet with a ton of experience. Um, but watching the third round between Munoz and Chito Vera, it was clear that Vera was starting to pull ahead. If you watched that round, Vera was just peppering Munoz with his jabs, utilizing his 5.5-inch reach advantage. So in this fight, Kyler, he's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. And so it's going to this fight is going to look a lot like the Munoz Sugar Sean O'Malley fight. So if you watch that fight, Munoz, I think he won the first round. So he spammed a shit ton of leg kicks in that first round. But in terms of optics, that reach advantage is going to be the same between Kyler and Pedro Munoz. But the difference here is that I don't think Munoz is going to win the first round, just because in Munoz's fight against O'Malley is kind of like a counterpuncher. He waits a lot for the opponent to kind of come in, and so Munoz wasn't really engaging. He was just spamming his leg kicks, whereas Kyler Phillips is very aggressive from the first round. He always wins the first round. And so I think Kyler is going to be very proactive with his striking. And I just feel like he's 100% going to bring the fight to Munoz. So pick here is going to be Kyler Phillips.
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand a lot of what you said about that breakdown right there. I think that, Munoz, he's the definition of his nickname, right? Young Punisher. Has a lot of wins over a lot of hype trains over the years. The last one that he had was over Chris Gutierrez, where he decisioned him. I mean, a solid striker, likes to just move forward, pump out non-stop pace, counters well as well. I mean, he heavy leg kicks, nice body kicks. He's pretty good in the pocket. He does eat some shots though, but this guy really just outvets a lot of those shots. I mean, a solid BJJ, 82% takedown defense as well. Has the ability to cinch in chokes, although he hasn't had a submission win in a few years. I think he's pretty durable as well. I mean, never been finished. Phillips, I just think that he's the next generation of the MMA fighting, right? I think he's just good everywhere, good striking, uses dynamic attacks. He can be a bit too flashy and wild for my taste at times, but I think that he has just a solid all around skill set to just make up for that. He has solid grappling, sets a good pace there as well, good timing on his takedowns, has good ground and pound. He was able to lock in subs. He's also durable. He's never been finished. I think that this could be a close fight that probably will go to decision. I will just side with the younger Phillips. I think he's just going to be too fast and quick and just has that reach advantage as well. I think he has a 72-inch reach. Pedro Munhoz has a 65-inch reach. So there's going to be a 7-inch reach advantage for Phillips here. I'll say Phillips via decision, but I actually like the over 2.5 as a potential parlay piece. Right now, the over 2.5, if we're looking at it right now, it's minus 285. So opened up at minus 205. Some pretty heavy line movement for that to make it minus 285 right now. So pick here is Kyler Phillips via decision, but I think I like that over 2.5 as a potential parlay piece. What do you think about the over 2.5? I want to get your thoughts actually about that.
Uh, so this one I did not. I'm gonna be honest. I locked in a bet myself for the over, so I got in at minus 270.
Nice.
I didn't. This is not a specific bet that I alerted pure pickers, just because I wasn't 100% sure. But as evidence, I do like it. I think it will hit personally. But just for full disclosure, we kind of like to discuss as a group before we put any bets on Bet MMA tips, and so that's why the other I put two bets in, which we kind of discussed, but this third bet I did not. So that's why I didn't alert the Discord group, but I do have a bet in for the over.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, and one last thing to note. I mean, I doubted this Kyler Phillips guy in his last fight. I was on the Ronnie Barcelos side, and that was just tough to watch. So I'm not doubting him again. I think this guy just is actually. I think he's the real deal. He also has a win over Song Yadong, by the way, guys. Like, look back on the record. This guy's actually pretty legit.